in Tulsa with Grammy-winning producer Ted Hutt. Just changed his room at the hotel because he wasn't happy with it. We're excited. We just found out the Gap Band recorded it. This project's been a long time coming. I think Nora Guthrie first contacted us probably 18, 20 years. It must be 20 years ago almost. And just kind of talked about how she thought her father would have got a kick out of us, would have liked us, that we were somewhat kindred spirits, so to speak, which to us was a huge honor. Big Woody Guthrie fan, loved just how he walked his talk, wasn't afraid to speak his mind, sing about his beliefs, wore his heart on his sleeve, and to be acknowledged by the family was awesome. Wow. Wow.
I discovered Dropkick Murphys on my son's wall, on a poster that he had hanging on his wall when he was a young teenager. That was about 20 years ago. So that's how I got to know them, is through my preteen son. And at that point, I was beginning to kind of get interested in how Woody's lyrics would be represented in a punk rock band, because so many of the lyrics were pissed. He's really pissed about things. And it really didn't fit into the kumbaya kind of folk instrumental, work. So I was very curious to hear what would happen working with them.
The whole journey started with the Guthrie lyrics. Nora got in touch with us and gave us the unbelievable privilege of going through the archives and selecting some lyrics to use. There was just an unbelievable amount of stuff. And this is somebody who seemed like he recorded every thought that popped into his head.
When I went down to the archives at the time, they were in New York, and when I went in, I got to be holding, I had to put on special white gloves. I was in this pressure-treated chamber, I don't know what you call it, but, it was to keep the paper intact, and I would literally hold the paper so gentle in my hand, and the woman who ran the room was saying, you have to be more gentle with the paper. I said, it's just sitting on my palm of my hand. But to look through these pages of history and see the actual papers they were written on was really mind-boggling. And Woody would date all the lyrics and put cool notes about like where he wrote them, where he was in the world when he wrote the song.
When you're looking at these original documents, they smell. They have coffee stains on them. They have old scents from Coney Island sea air. They're still in there. So I always tell people when they come and research, don't just look at the papers, smell the papers, look at what's around the coffee stains or the wine stains or the salt deposits. There's all kinds of interesting things that you can pick up from the lyric that gives you an idea of the state that Woody was in when he wrote them. If he was writing on a typewriter, or if he was scribbling with crayon or ink, he wrote in many, many different styles.
Woody Guthrie to us is like, he's the original punk. He's a rebel who spoke his mind. He put his convictions ahead of his own personal comforts and his success as a musician. He fought the fight, and we've always just found him to be someone that we looked up to musically, who was just about getting his message out. And our desire to collaborate with the Guthrie family is, one, it's a big honor to just be asked to try to bring, these unpublished lyrics to life with music. But I also think the similarities that Dropkick Murphys share with Woody's sentiments and what he writes about and what he believes in and what he stands up for and what he sings about in his songs.
Bye, 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 oh, boundary line. Bye, 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 oh, boundary line.
We have a very unique relationship with Dropkick Murphys. Everything they've ever touched or recorded of Woody's lyrics has turned out to be very prescient in some mystical kind of way. And I can't explain why this happens. The first lyric that we did with them was Gonna Be a Blackout.
Blackout tonight. Gonna be a blackout. Blackout tonight. Gonna be a blackout.
They recorded that lyric. They titled the album Blackout because they liked it so much. 2 weeks after the release of that record, there was the biggest Northeast blackout in American history. Every state along the whole Northeast border, Boston, Rhode Island, New York City. I was in the office, in the archives in New York City when there was this major blackout. The second song I did with them was Shipping Up to Boston.
I'm a sailor pig, and I lost my leg, climbing up the top sails.
He had so many like deep songs and tons of verses, and here's this one song that just basically has one verse and one chorus, and Ship It Up to Boston was one of his lyrics. And it was like we had already had the song, and the minute I looked at the lyrics, it was just like, oh, this goes in that song. And it happened to be about Boston and fit the music pretty good, I'd say.
Ship it up to Boston. Ship it up to Boston.
Some of Woody's lyrics are profound and wonderful and glorious, and some of them are ridiculous and stupid, and I can't believe that he wrote them. And one of those really ridiculous lyrics was Shipping Up to Boston. And I thought, are you kidding? I was like, this is so ridiculous. It's about a pirate with a wooden leg. You're going to do something with that? They took it and they made the hit song out of it. Right after they released that, the Boston Red Sox won the friggin' World Series. Then Martin Scorsese heard it, he liked it, he made it the theme song for his movie The Departed. So they had unbelievable success with one of the worst, or I shouldn't say worst, but one of the, most unimportant lyrics that Woody Guthrie ever wrote. And they had the biggest hit with it.
I think back then when we first started with all this, we wouldn't have been ready to do what we're doing now. We were trying to take Woody's lyrics and force them into Dropkick Murphys, and that was fun and it worked. But this is more trying to do something totally different with the lyrics. Think about how, not necessarily how Woody would have done them, but just trying to do them from like a stripped down, more raw, more to that period.
So we had always toyed with the idea of doing other Woody Guthrie songs after the Blackout sessions were done and stuff. So there was always the thought that maybe we would do something else. Eventually we got the opportunity to go through some more Woody Guthrie lyrics with the intention of doing enough for a full album.
Doing this project in Oklahoma, it just feels like, it just kind of ties it all together. It's just nice to be able to be stomping around in the same areas that Woody Guthrie was walking around in, and just like breathing the air and the people and the South, and just, come into the studio. The church is a beautiful place with so much history in itself.
I think when you're in some, not that it's not a large city, but smaller, there's such a kind of camaraderie and sense of community between the Woody Guthrie Center. Now the Bob Dylan's opening a museum here, and our friend Danny with the Outsiders House Museum, and there's just so much cool history here, and we've done and been involved in it. And if one needs help, like I just went to the dentist, my tooth fell out, the dentist fixed my tooth for free. And it's like, oh, you're recording at the church studio? I love Leon, let's don't worry about it, you don't have to pay it. I'm just using that as an example of like, man, there's that like small town feel. And that's why we came here. We wanted to get into that kind of small town America, Tulsa, like into Woody's roots, and not, be doing it in New York City or Boston.
When artists go looking for the source of the material, it's a little bit like anthropology or archaeology. They're going to find the source. Where does this come from? Where do these words come from? Who is this guy, etc.? They were imbibing what they could. And in that, you find yourself. You say, I'm just like that. Oh my God, I didn't know. He likes this, I like that too. It's not a history lesson. I think it's they're looking for a connection where they say, we're just like that. It's about finding yourself. And Woody triggers that moment where you go, yeah, that's me. So therefore, Ken and the band can sing the material with authenticity because it's no longer Woody's voice, it's their voice.
It's a long old time in a hard rock jail. It's a long old time gone by. It's a long old time I've laid in jail, and I still got 99. myself in a gambling game and I couldn't half play my hand. I was thinking about that woman I loved run away with another man. Run away with another man. Run away with another man. I was thinking about that woman I loved run away with another.
You got the last one good, so you're just getting these two, okay?
So the end too? Yeah, well, we don't even have to get that one. Away with another man. Run away with another man. Run away with another man. I was thinking about.
That was pretty good. If you can get one more of those.
Away with another man. Run away with another man. Run away with another man. I was thinking about that woman.
That was good. Let's move on.
The original church was built in 1915, but it's really what people know it for is what happened in 1972 when Leon Russell bought this old church and turned it literally into this world-class recording studio. There have been 4 owners of the church studio between me and Leon Russell. When I bought the church, I bought it sight unseen. I would drive by and I was just really disappointed in the shape that it was in. It was boarded up, there were fires in the neighborhood, a lot of trash. And so I contacted the owner and I said, hey, I'm a huge Leon Russell fan. Would you ever consider selling the church? And he said, meet me for a drink down the street here and let's talk about it. After a series of meetings at this bar, we finally came to an agreement. I wanted the church to be this living, breathing instrument per se for not only honoring the past and the legacy artists that came through here, but be a working studio for today's artists. So I'm really happy that we're open as a recording studio now.
Being here at the church studio is amazing. Just this huge, great open room with a ton of history, and to do something more acoustic where we're trying to get the room sounds and capture the band playing together as opposed to, loud electric instruments that all the cabinets are isolated. It's like it's the perfect place to do something like this because we can utilize that room sound. Now, doing that makes me want to go back and Johnny Cash it up a little more because that's such a, even if that re-intro got like that, but the rest of the song didn't.
You get a little bit of that in there anyway, just a little bit of the, the train. Play me what you'll be. Yeah, an underlay. It doesn't have to be like the Sixes Upside Down, but just like it's got an underline of the. It's like chicken. The paper through the strings thing. Let's get one down. Okay.
Ted is really fun to work with in the studio because he's like another band member. He's like the 5th Beatle or the 8th Dropkick. He's kind of just there to be the outside opinion because we're all in it. We might not listen to each other's opinions, but when he has an opinion, we listen to it. And that's everyone.
She's upside down, she's broke apart and getting worse every day.
He's able to get the best performance out of each guy. He knows what he's doing. It's whether it's some kind of crazy voodoo or psychology, whatever it is. He's excellent at what he does, and we love having him.
Damn deck to play.
To be asked back to do another record with the guys, I consider everybody in the band a good friend, and I feel like whenever we get together, it's I always look forward to it. It's fun. Everything jives. The sense of humor is good. The atmosphere is really good. Yeah, it's intensive sometimes. It's hard work, Let's get in and dig and see what we can come up that's different from previous records that we've made together. The opportunity to do this with the Woody lyrics is something really special.
Let's do one more. Just because there's a couple of little things. Just that is really good. I'm 9 out of 10 on that one. Let's see if we can get to it.
Go for 10.
There's one chord you should change just in the intro. Have a listen to the intro, Ryan.
Does an English guy know about Woody Guthrie?
Just kidding. Go on then.
Ham it up for the camera. Ham it up for the camera.
When we talked about starting work on the record, we felt that it was right to do something location-wise. Let's go to the heart of it. Let's go to where Woody Guthrie comes from. It's looking for a way to turn something over new so that you're not just going through a process of 10, 12 songs again. You're going, well, how do we approach this with a different angle each time? How do we make this fun? How do we turn something over so that it's a slightly different experience each time? And hopefully each time we do that, we change, we grow, we add something that we maybe wouldn't have had on a previous record. But it's always a journey. It's got to keep moving forward.
I've been catching them freight trains, I've been riding them railroads, I've been sleeping in a boxcar, watching the world go by, watching the world go by. I've been walking them highways, I've been hitting them back roads, I've been sleeping in a haystack, watching the world go by, watching the world go by.
The first thing that comes to mind when you read a lot of those lyrics is that sort of folk music, you know. While that's something that we definitely do, it's not something that we fully concentrate on. You know, like the records are never 100% acoustic or whatever. There's acoustic songs and everything. But Dropkick Murphys are kind of known for amping up folk music. And so the challenge for us on this one is to just sort of scale it back from where we normally would bring it. It's easy when you're writing a song to just, you know, sort of turn your amplifiers on and stuff, and immediately it sounds great. When you're doing acoustic stuff like this, you got to pay a lot more attention to detail, and things don't immediately sound as huge as they would when you're playing with electric guitars and stuff. So it's been really fun to sort of figure out how to fill in all the spaces that would normally sort of be hidden by the wall of noise that we hit people with. And as a music guy, I mean, it's been a lot of fun to try to figure that stuff out.
Watching the world go by. I've been shingling a rooftop, I've been tending to a new crop, I've been eating from a bean pod. I've been working on a new road, I've been working on the railroad, but I can't ride on neither. I'm watching the world go by, watching the world go by. Freight train, railroad, boxcar, highway, backdoor, haystack, beef patch, fruit ranch, pasture, new road, railroad, my road. I'm catching, riding, sleeping, walking, hitting, picking, working, living. I'm watching the world go by, watching the world go by, watching the world go by.
We write a lot of songs as Dropkick Murphys, and half of the battle of writing those songs is coming up with the lyrics. In the beginning of this, it felt nice to know that the lyrics were already written, and I think we figured that it might be easier to tackle, but it's been pretty difficult in a good way, not in a bad way.
I carried a gallon of gasoline over 14 miles. I chopped and carried 314 arm loads of stove wood, 109 buckets of bucket bath.
Want to make a wager? I get this one. $10. Want $10 on this?
Yeah.
I
chopped and carried 314 armloads of stove wood, 109 buckets of coal. I carried a gallon of gasoline 18 miles over a mountain, and even lost and ruined a good goddamn pair of shoes doing it. I cleaned out 9 barn lofts and cranked 31 cars, pulled 3 or 4 out of mud holes and 4 or 5 out of snow drifts. I dug 5 cisterns of water for a family of friends and run all kinds of errands. Man, the list never seemed to end. I played fiddle for 9 church meetings, joined in 11 separate denominations, joined up and signed with the 7 best trade unions and paid my dues 6 months in advance, all to prove to a woman that I could do my fair share of hard work. Pay up, bitch! I've been drunk and I've been sober, baptized and hijacked. Raw for cash or credit, didn't know where I was at. I worked my way in and out of jail, but the hardest work to find was to find a worried woman to help me ease this worried mind. I'll settle for 5. I missed my cue. I missed my cue. I was taking my money I just won.
Oh, the waters are rising, the waters are rising, the waters are rising, the old ship's going down. Torpedo hit on number 2, hatch goes to the engine room. I heard the bosun yelling, they'll shoot the second soon. Torpedo in the engine room. Torpedo in the engine room. Torpedo in the engine room. The old ship's going down.
We've definitely taken the opportunity to sort of take some chances and go places we wouldn't maybe necessarily go normally. Just doing a straight Dropkick Murphys album, to be able to take inspiration from the lyrics and not have to worry about if it's not this enough or if it's not enough of that. And we've been thrilled with the way that we've just sort of allowed it to breathe and do what it's going to do, musically speaking.
The already existing idea of Woody Guthrie, it's this huge thing that you can't get away from, so you're inclined to take the music in a specific direction. And it's been awesome and wild to see how that original idea, which felt like one of us trying to write a Woody Guthrie song, turns into something so completely removed from that. But at the same time, you realize that it's not, because it was born of this idea and it comes out a completely unique product. And I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I can't say enough. Like, this whole thing is just exciting, and it's such a new experience. And for a band who's been around for 20 plus years, who's been making records consistently and has kind of a, if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality, to not kind of know where it's going to end up is awesome.
Ken would just sing what he thought, how he thought it might go, and we just had our guitars and instruments going. It was just so fast and so fun. It just seemed so meant to be, just our paths crossing with Woody Guthrie's lyrics and everything.
Waters are rising, the old ship's going down. The waters are rising, the old ship's going down.
You feel like there's a certain amount of responsibility handling someone else's work. And I think that's one of the best things about our relationship with Nora at this point, is that she trusts us with the legacy. And that's something that we're very respectful of and grateful for. So we're aware of it. At the same time, it'd be pretty easy to sit down and go, oh, we should write a song like Woody Guthrie would write. And that's not the way to approach this either, I don't think. We took the material, let it steer us in a different direction, and are making sure to make it ours while preserving the original message. There's nothing that he wanted to say in these songs that we're removing by any means. I think we're just providing a different vehicle to take that message to a different audience.
Good thing you know about Woody Guthrie. Hated Hitler.
Hitler and Goebbels, they jumped the creek. Ain't no one seen them since last week. Mussolini and
I think the interesting thing is that you're collaborating with somebody who's no longer around, and you're also collaborating with somebody who's seeing the world from the perspective of a different time, but so sort of uncannily similar to the time that we're going through right now.
Run, Hitler, run, we're coming to get you. You better run, you better run.
We were trying to find lyrics that kind of hit in the same areas that were important to us, a lot about, social, economic injustice, about, organizing the working class, about, a lot of stuff about, that he wrote during the war that was, about standing up to fascism or conservative values that we don't agree with, and, his fight for working class people. There's just a lot of similarities in the band's mindset. And, to read these lyrics and go, holy crap, this was written in the 30s or 40s, but it's so apropos to today. It's actually kind of scary. It's powerful at the same time because it's so relevant now.
Run, Hitler, run, we're coming to get you.
Every other Dropkick Murphys record that I've been involved with in the past 12 or so years is a look inward on the lyric front. This band might appear to be just all might and brawn and rage, which is true on the one hand, but on the other hand, if you crack open the album sleeve and read the lyrics, many of the songs are about how people stand up in the world for other people, for their families, how this band stands up in the world for other people. These lyrics are Woody Guthrie's lyrics, and they're from another time and another place. It might be this place called America, but I would say that this America of today is very, very different from the one that he knew, yet it's exactly the same. But here we have an album that's looking inward, and it's asking us all these questions about, like, where do I stand? Which side am I on? He's actually calling out people that he says are phonies, pretty much like a guy with a baseball bat who's tired of taking shit from people who don't show up. And that's what this band has always been.
Oftentimes, we'll have a basic arrangement and then write lyrics to it. But whereas here, the challenge was coming up with a way of writing the music to the lyrics that would maybe, that would do the guy proud.
Woody was a champion of the underdog. He partly made it his mission to allow the underdog to have a seat at the table with the big guy, and in a lot of ways that relates to this band. And when the band started out, the theme of the band in the very beginning was very similar and a very close parallel line to the sensibility of all of Woody's work. It really is a good pairing. It's a very natural thing.
Woody Guthrie was a collection of words, and he was a voice for people who all he was really doing was reflecting people's desires, people's pain, what people wanted back to them. And that's exactly what Dropkick Murphys is. So this album for me isn't a departure from Dropkick Murphys' normal music and normal purpose. This is not like an off-ramp and we're over here driving on the side of the highway. This is the highway.
An acoustic guitar could be just as powerful as an electric guitar. What I really appreciate in this album is they show us that acoustic instruments are forceful. Everything has become bigger, louder, more of everything. There's a beauty in these everyday, small, simple instruments being able to make such bold statements and a lot of noise. And what Dropkicks have done is to pull that veil back in a way and show that you don't have to do all that to have a strong message if the message is strong. And they don't need anything to decorate these lyrics.
When I wash and shave and shower, my eyes are gonna shine. When my working folks take power, my eyes are gonna shine. When Henry Wallace signs my papers and I get rid of thieves and gamblers, phonies, pimps, and sidewalk ramblers, my eyes are gonna shine. My eyes are gonna shine, oh shine. My eyes are gonna shine.
I think we mainly wanted to do the record acoustic to kind of pay the homage to Woody, that even though our version of acoustic doesn't sound anything like what his version of acoustic did, we still felt like it just still tipped its cap to what it was. And then as we got into the writing process, we really realized that doing it acoustic was an amazing challenge for us in a good way, to challenge yourself to not rely on just power and noise, to be able to kind of craft the song. So I think as a band, it was very helpful to us as songwriters.
Hey Ken, where's the staircase that you like for the... Not necessarily, but it depends how long it would take. We would have to bring out
10 times more, which when we did the demos, we were just walking around stomping in the studio, and as you see, much more solid floor. It doesn't have quite the bang that those stairs did. There's actually no percussion or instruments on this song. We just stomp around and sing.
Well, the crooks, they work, we gotta work. Now what's our choice for 10 times more? Well, the robbers, they walk, we gotta walk.
It's such a wide style of music. Everything's totally acoustic. Some stuff doesn't even have any instrument but a harmonica and us stomping. We didn't have a set goal, but the definitely goal was not to have 2 albums. It was probably more to record, 15 to 16 songs and then pick from some and have a couple of B-sides. And next thing you know, there's a part 1 and a part 2. I don't think right off the bat when we came up with the idea, we were like, well, we got to tour on this. We didn't even know what we were going to sound like acoustic. We thought it might have more like a couple of guys sitting on a stool in a pub vibe, and it ended up being such a more powerful thing, and we invested so much time and energy in it. We were like, well, yeah, of course we'd want to tour on this, and then we thought to ourselves, well, how do we do it so that it really is delineated from on our other side, which is loud and rowdy. So we came up with the idea, let's do it seated. And that was definitely a bold thing for us, you know what I mean? Because we rely on that energy.
It sounds really good, but you got to keep it going, okay?
I rue the minute I suggested that these stairs sound great to stomp on.
The acoustic tour, I thought, was great. I think we were all pretty nervous about it, with something super different that we had never really done before. And then, figuring out how to do the Guthrie songs that we recorded was a whole other fun thing to do. Because again, we had never really had an undertaking like that where we went into the studio and did a bunch of just purely acoustic songs. You find out a lot of things real quick when you're trying to do something like that, as far as dynamics in the music and things like that you really got to focus on and do differently than you would if you just had a bunch of loud electric guitar tracks.
Face down in the gutter, won't admit defeat. Those foes are sort of loud.
Biggest transition from going to the studio to touring acoustic was that we needed to fill out the rest of the set. And we had rehearsed the songs for the acoustic album so much that it wasn't so much how we're going to play these live. It was more filling out the rest of the set with our own songs that we altered and give them that kind of Americana, twist, and change out the bagpipes for a harmonica, There was a lot of work to just rearrange songs and figure out how we wanted to approach our old songs in that manner. And that was a lot of fun.
Every tour is different, but to do something so completely different at this stage of our career was exciting and just so much fun. It was the same thing we always do. We got on a bus, we traveled around, we played music, but it was completely different for so many reasons. And I absolutely loved it. In that first night, we couldn't have hired a better crowd to send us off, because we put it out there and they just took it from us. And that crowd in New Hampshire was absolutely unbelievable, and it got us so excited for the rest of the trip. Some nights everyone was on their feet the entire time, hooting and hollering. Other nights people just sat and appreciated the thing, and learning to appreciate how people appreciate things in a different way was a learning experience. Everything about it from top to bottom was beautiful.
When we finished the acoustic tour and, we knew we had other tours coming up where the sort of full-on acoustic thing was done and we were going back to our normal electric set, we had to figure out how we were going to sort of integrate those songs that we had recorded fully acoustic into the normal, loud electric set. We toyed around with a couple of things. So we really had to figure out what we were going to do as far as song selection, as far as how we were going to play them, how we were going to put them in the set and everything. What we ended up doing was there are songs that we play just as we did on the recording, but with the acoustic instruments. And then there are songs where we just full-on abandon the acoustic side of it and turn them into electric songs. But getting to toy with a couple of them that were, appropriate for it, to turn them into full-on electric songs, that was fun. Even when we were recording them, I was saying to myself, this could just be a plain old, regular, loud Dropkick Murphys song.
When we transitioned back to electric shows, that the acoustic songs fit seamlessly into the set. Just gives it a little, ebb and flow to the set. And most of these acoustic songs, they're not ballads, and they're about, they're protest songs. So even though they're acoustic, they've still got, a lot of them anyway, have some fire to them. And I think that having this repertoire to kind of dangle into the electric set where we want to is nice, because now we might have a song that it doesn't bring the vibe of the show down to like where a ballad would, but it still gives a little break because it's acoustic. So it gives the audience's ears a rest from the beating they may be taking for the rest of the show.
Speak up like a man and fight. I know how it feels to march and sing when you know that your fight is right. I know how it feels. I know how it feels. I know how it feels. I know just how it feels. I know how it feels. I know how it feels.
This machine still kills fascists. Cette machine, c'est-à-dire la guitare, continue de tuer les fascistes.
The theory there is that a song and the message in a song can carry longer, farther, in a far more positive way than any bullet can, So hopefully the message of people like Woody Guthrie, the message of people like Dropkick Murphys today can carry that positive message that roots out fascism and other horrible tendencies in the human race, and little by little, one song at a time.
What songs did change your life when you were a kid?
You really had to ask me that question?
Yes.
Like I'm going to have an answer right now? Oh, my God. I mean, I think that...
even if they're just several songs, I don't care. But
I mean, a lot of Bruce Springsteen songs changed the way I looked at life.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? A lot of songs by The Clash changed my life. Clamp Down, all these songs about that represented kind of the working man and the working woman and the regular person in society. And that's why I always gravitated towards punk rock, because it was like they were speaking to us. When it comes to the point where corporations are making billions and trillions of dollars and their workers are making a very small amount of that, there's enough to go around for everybody, and we're big supporters of workers' rights, and we always have been. Playing these songs in Europe was interesting because maybe Woody Guthrie's not as much of a household name there, but people seem to actually then, in another way, take more interest in what the project was all about and researching Woody, I think some of them for the first time. And for instance, when we were in the UK, there was lots of striking going on. And so some of this stuff was like hitting very hard. Woody's pro-union stuff was like, it was very timely.
There's a lot of the Guthrie songs that do resonate with the audiences in the UK and Europe. And we were playing the song All You Phonies in the UK, and Ken was changing the words a little bit. Apart from one word being changed, everything was completely relatable for them.
The first song that we started playing live was 2 6s.
2 6s upside down, 2 6s upside down.
We started doing that in Europe before we ever played it in the States, and the response was unbelievable. I can't say enough about our fans and how supportive and unbelievable they are, and we can throw anything at them. I mean, one of the great things about the Guthrie stuff is how universal it is. It's about humans. It's about human feelings. It's about human rights. And it's about everybody, and I think playing it all over the world is the best thing that we could have done. The response has been unbelievable everywhere that we've taken.
At the end of all the touring that we did, we ended with the Boston shows for St. Paddy's Day, and it was the first time we got to play at the MGM Music Hall right next to Fenway Park, and we were all so blown away by that place. And the shows were so great, specifically because we got to play some of the Guthrie songs as they were recorded with the special guests and everything. Evan from Turnpike Troubadours got to sing with us. Nora and Anna Guthrie came up for the shows. And her son Cole, who plays dobro on a number of songs on both of the Woody Guthrie albums that we did, he was in town and he played with us. And so it was just to have that be the end of this big, long, tour that we had done that essentially started in October with the acoustic Woody stuff. It was so great. It felt like a real nice wrapping up of the whole thing.
How can you call a man when you treat him like a dog? And how can you call a man when you kill him like a hog? How can you call him an eternal soul and grind him in the dirt? And how can you say a fella's free, chained down and tied to work? And she's upside down, she's broke apart.
I think that this music and this message and these lyrics are still something that we're digging up and putting back out there because it's a timeless message. And that message is a person is a person and deserves to be treated with love and respect and deserves to feel free in their life. And you're not going to get that direct message from all these songs all the time, but I think that is the message that Woody was trying to get across, whether it was about workers' rights or about sitting on a train, appreciating the country.
To me, as a human being, Woody Guthrie is like just covering the bases. Be a decent person, take care of your neighbor. Somehow today, though, that seems to fall under a banner of something that people find threatening. They think that somehow taking care of people and looking after one or other is like it's a bad thing.
We finished recording these songs. I, for one, was super proud of the sort of steps that we had taken to make sure that it was something different, not only for ourselves, but for the audience. We're always going to do what Dropkick Murphys are known for doing. But to be able to, again, sort of step outside of our musical comfort zone and sort of flesh these songs out in a different way than we had ever tried to do before, I was incredibly proud of all of us, and so excited for everybody to hear it. Hope everyone listens to these albums and enjoys the sort of musical progression that's happened throughout the years for the Dropkick Murphys.
We didn't have any perceived goal of what people took away from it musically or thematically. Those people who have been with Dropkick Murphys from the beginning know that, like, this message is us to our core. And even musically, acoustically, I think that's still us to our core. You know, there's always been that side of us that, you know, acoustic folk and protest music has always been one huge chunk of the puzzle that makes up Dropkick Murphys.
I discovered Woody Guthrie rather later in life. I always loved heavy music. And first it was metal, and then it was punk, and then it was hip hop. It wasn't until my 30s where I really got into like the Bruce Springsteen Nebraska record. And there was this fella named Woody Guthrie who was hugely influential to him. And I started buying every Woody Guthrie cassette that I could. And I realized what sort of a political kinship that we had, as well as the same kind of mission where music, when done right by people like Woody Guthrie, is like the first responders to spiritual crisis in people. I saw a great kinship in the way that I wanted my music to be in the world and how I wanted to live my life as a musician, where the North Star was always your music is a sledgehammer to fight for justice.
For me, Woody Guthrie was the first singer-songwriter activist. He's the father, maybe the grandfather of our tradition. And a lot of what he did has echoes in punk rock. You know, he did activist gigs. He printed up copies of his own lyrics to sell at gigs like fanzines. He painted slogans on his guitars. He might have been the original punk rocker in that sense.
Like the idea of wielding a guitar as an instrument of social change and really meaning it and committing to it. He wrote stuff on his guitar. Like This Machine Kills Fascists, one, is a very powerful thing to contend that this machine is not a machine gun. You know, it's an instrument that, like, Woody Guthrie was a soldier in the army of love. You know what I mean? But he contended that these 6 strings could bring down an empire. I love that thought, and that's what inspired me to write Arm the Homeless on one guitar, Whatever It Takes on another guitar, Soul Power on another guitar, that's another canvas that an artist can express themselves on and then try to live up to what it is that you write on the guitar.
When I was very fortunate to be approached by Nora Guthrie, and she's been very, very smart in the sort of people she's chosen, who's seen something that resonates in people like myself and the Dropkick Murphys to connect with her father's music. Obviously, the Dropkicks picked up with Shipping Out to Boston, which is an amazing piece of work. I mean, it's an 8-line song. You would never believe that Ken Casey could find that and imagine such an amazing song out of that. But that's the nature of the Woody Guthrie archive. There's so much weird stuff in there, interesting stuff in there, over 3,000 complete lyrics. It just takes someone like Ken to go in there and find a song like that, or myself with All You Fascists, or Jeff Tweedy with California Stars. It's how we connect with Woody that counts.
Woody Guthrie found his politics not in a textbook, but on the trail from Oklahoma to the migrant fields of California. It takes a certain kind of background to have that confluence of sort of commitment to an art form and a belief system that is authentically kind of organic, that can connect with people about these kinds of social issues. That's something to aim for, man. Like to get involved in that sort of mix of art and deep feeling and commitment, and playing music and writing music like everyone's soul who is in the room is at stake, is what Woody did with his songs, and it's what I aspire to do too.
I think music will always have a great power to be able to bring people together. You know, there's something that you can get at a gig, and it doesn't have to be a political gig, but it's particularly a Dropkick Murphys gig, because I've seen it myself. There's almost a sense of communion among everybody singing together, everybody coming together in the sweat and the beer and the lights and the noise. There's a solidarity in that. It's something that you can't get online. You can't just whistle that up through Google. You have to be there. You have to have that feeling. You have to be in that room. And I think we need that as human beings. You know, it's why people sing at the football. It's why people sing in church. There's a there's a genuine communion there. And I think it's certainly something that I aspire to at my gigs, and it's something that I know Dropkick Murphys do as well, because I've seen it firsthand on St. Patrick's Night in Boston, and it's mighty impressive.